Before the NBA deep dives, before the fantasy lineup debates, before Round Ball Rants ever had a name, there was a place, a memory, and a person. For me, it all started in the late 1990s, packed shoulder to shoulder inside the Cub Cave. My local high school team making the state playoffs for the very first time. And right there in the middle of that chaos, that noise, that electricity, was my friend, Marty Barnett. Marty wasn't just the loudest voice in the gym. He was the heartbeat, a lifelong friend, the kind of guy who could spark a fire in the crowd, settle a teammate, and still crack a joke at the exact moment everyone needed one. He taught me how to rile up opponents without crossing the line, and how to cross it just enough to make the whole section erupt. He taught me how to hype up the home crowd, how to turn teenage emotion into fuel, how to make the Cub Cave feel like the most important place on earth on a Friday night. But more than that, Marty was support. Long after the bleachers stopped shaking, distance never mattered, time never mattered. He always checks in on me when life got loud, when years slip by, and when most people quietly drift away. He's one of those rare friends who stays in your corner even when you haven't stepped into the ring for a while. That matters more than he probably realizes. Because in those early days, when basketball was still forming in my life, Marty gave me permission to feel it, to live it, and to love it. In our student section chant, our Cub Cave anthem, nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Part anger, part angst, but all heart. That moment, that sound, that friendship, that's where the red line begins. On the professional side, my entry point was Scottie Pippen. When Pippen left Houston and joined the Portland Trail Blazers, he became the last link between the NBA I watched as a kid and the NBA I was finally beginning to understand. Right around the same time, the NBA 2K series launches on the Dreamcast. And man, loading that game up for the first time was like opening a portal. 2K wasn't just a game, it was a classroom. Practice mode taught me footwork. Animations taught me timing. Franchise mode taught me roster construction. The presentation taught me how basketball was supposed to flow. This was the moment basketball stopped being something I watched casually and started becoming something that I studied. By the mid to late 2000s, that curiosity grew into writing articles for a website called Virtual Sports Network, a community where we obsessed over franchise modes, sim leagues, draft classes, not hot takes, not drama. Looking back, the Cub Cave taught me emotion. The Trailblazers taught me loyalty. NBA 2K taught me detail. VSN taught me how to use my voice. Every piece strengthened the red line, without me ever even realizing it. Here's the truth. For a long time, basketball didn't feel like it was meant for me. Not the real version anyway. The one with camps, elite shoes, AAU circuits, signature sneakers, and early development pipelines. I showed up to practice in tennis shoes, squeaking across the floor like a busted shopping cart, and friends laughed at me right off the court. Not malice, not cruel, just honest teenage comedy. And the first time I asked my grandma for basketball shoes, real ones, the ones everyone had, she said, "No, I don't think you're good enough." She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was just being real. But it made me realize something. Maybe organized basketball wasn't for me. So I turned away from the hardwood, and the game still found me. Right at the Lucas Park. Lucas is where basketball truly became mine. No dress code, no coaches, no expectations, just concrete, chain nets, and a crew of friends trying to live out the And1 mixtapes the best we could. We weren't mimicking NBA stars, we were trying to be Hot Sauce, The Professor, Escalade, half man, half amazing. I wasn't a superstar. I was never the first pick. I wasn't even the guy people debated over. But if you guarded me, you were running, you were moving, you were sweating. You had to work. My jumper from deep, listen, it's not pretty. But sometimes, that thing would drop, and when it did, the whole park felt it. My game wasn't polished. It was scrappy, effort-driven, heart first. Looking back, it reflected on my life more than I realized. Just like on that court, I always had to work harder, move faster, and find my own lanes when the traditional path wasn't for me. When I wasn't at the Lucas Park, I was diving even deeper into the game. Dan Le Batard taught me how to feel basketball. Bill Simmons taught me how to tie eras together, how sports becomes history. Inside the NBA became a second home, voices that felt like family until the day they suddenly weren't on TNT anymore and showed up on ESPN instead. And through all of this, I found comfort in learning a game I loved during a time when I had a hard time learning to love myself. Basketball didn't choose me as a player, but it chose me as a student, a storyteller, a voice. And that ended up being the better lane all along. Loving something deeply is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Basketball becomes the rhythm of my life, a language I spoke even when everything else felt chaotic. It taught me timing, patience, perspective, creativity, community, resilience. Yeah, it cost me sleep watching those late West Coast games. Yeah, it consumed my attention Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but it also gave me belonging in the moment. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere else. It gave me identity when I wasn't sure who I was supposed to be. The red line didn't just follow me. It helped form me. Before we close this out, shout out to Dubby Energy. If you're grinding, creating, working long nights, or trying to find the focus for something that actually matters in your life, Dubby's got you. Go to dubby.gg, use promo code Round Ball Rants, and support the show while you support yourself. Now, let's bounce. You know, the funny thing about basketball is that it teaches you lessons long before you realize you're learning them. Lesson 1. You don't choose where you start, but you do choose how you respond. Tennis shoes, no camps, no pedigree. That wasn't a barrier. That was a blueprint. A starting point that said, if you want it, you're gonna have to build it yourself. Lesson 2. You don't have to be the star to matter. You can be the voice, the energy, the storyteller, the student, the person who sees the game deeper than most people play it. Lesson 3. Community is what makes the game real. The Cub Cave wasn't just a gym. It was belonging. It was proof that noise can be love. and connection can happen anywhere people believe in the same thing. Lesson 4. Streetball teaches honesty. The park will expose you, humble you, shape you, and remind you that heartbeat beats highlight every single time. Lesson 5. The game is bigger than the rules. It's the people, the laughter, the trash talk, the pride, the memories, the moments no camera ever caught. Lesson 6. Basketball is therapy, even when you don't call it that. Even when you don't know what to call the feeling of finally breathing again after a bad day, or a bad week, or a bad season of life. Sometimes the ball bounces so that you don't break. Lesson 7. You're allowed to evolve. You can start as a kid in the bleachers and grow into the guy on the mic. You can go from running the floor to running a show. That's not losing the dream, it's expanding it. Lesson 8. Passion doesn't fade. It changes shape. The way you love the game at 12 isn't the way you love it at 20 or 30 or even now, but it's the same heartbeat. Lesson 9. Not everyone stays, but the ones who do matter more than you'll ever know. Marty is proof of that. Some friendships survive distance, time, even silence, because they were built in a place that meant something. Lesson 10. The red line isn't basketball. It's the thread that runs through your life and ties everything together. Basketball just helped you see it, name it, hold on to it. And here's the last one, the one of all of this really comes down to. Lesson 11. If something calls to you, even quietly, even imperfectly, even when you don't feel worthy of it, follow it anyway. Follow it messy, follow it without the right shoes, follow it without the right background, follow it without the right path, because the right path is the one that you build yourself. That's the bounce, because it's not just basketball. It's everything basketball taught us when we weren't paying attention. It's the Cub Cave. It's the Lucas Park. It's a Sega Dreamcast and 2K. It's inside the NBA. It's every late night highlight and early morning memory. It's every place the game met you exactly where you were. And if nobody else tells you this today, you're allowed to keep chasing the thing that makes you feel alive. No matter where you started, no matter who doubted you, no matter what shoes you showed up wearing. My name is Vincent Cooper. This was Round Ball Rants. And remember, it's not just basketball. It's therapy with a bounce.